Salutations everyone and welcome to What Mattered, the show where I tell you what mattered in the news this week. The Power Rangers movie is finally out and they have enough material, they say, for at least 5 more movies. So, you know what they say.
It's morphin' time. What do you mean I look stupid? F*** you. How about that?
So Destiny 2 has been outed. There is a leaked screenshot of a promotional poster from a GameStop in Italy that has Destiny 2, and we know the release date, at least for Europe, is September 8th of this year. So one would expect either a global release date, or maybe America gets it a couple days earlier, which sometimes happens. Maybe Europe gets it a couple days late, or maybe they get it a day early, or who knows. But it's coming out in September. We know that for a fact, pretty much. And there is obviously going to be an open beta, much like the first one had, which shattered all kinds of records, and just through pre-sales and day one sales, it, paid for itself with that long, huge advertising campaign and the development of a brand new IP from Bungie that was like the biggest ever for a brand new IP, and then recouped those losses by the time the game came out. So obviously a sequel was going to happen, and thankfully it's going to be only come out on current generation consoles as we've known, so we can expect it graphically to be a lot more intensive and be able to handle a lot of things, since we don't have it bogged down by being able to be playable on the PS3 and the 360, of which the last few DLCs have not been available. So we know that this was a long time coming. And the beta will be available sometime, supposedly, in June, which is, okay, with July, August, 2 months in between the beta and the launch. That seems fairly normal. It's not just a promotional beta. It seems like they are going to try to gather some statistics from it. So, yeah, none of this is really a surprise. Maybe some people were expecting, maybe a November or a December release, but September definitely is not catching a lot of people by surprise. And let's hope that it's really good, but it's going to be an open beta, one could gather, and we'll be able to at least get a taste of it in June. Everyone's favorite Knight versus Viking versus Samurai game, For Honor, has been a lot in the news the past week due to a couple of things. Obviously, the community has shrunk since 2 weeks after release, which is pretty typical. They said that the Steam community has dropped by like 70% or something like that. And even for a big AAA, release from a developer as huge as Ubisoft with a multiplayer-centric game, this isn't, really out of nowhere. This happens all the time. If a game, even if it's a successful launch, like, For Honor or The Division, people will fall off if they've either done everything or it doesn't keep their interest, and you can definitely see why. We've gotten new consoles since then. We've got Zelda Breath of the Wild, Horizon Zero Dawn, Mass Effect Andromeda. So there's a lot of things to keep gamers' attention and a lot of new things popping up. So yeah, this is pretty standard. It's not like a huge dip or a huge hit. It's basically what I think anybody should have expected for a game that I think is pretty fun, but much like a lot of people, I haven't played it since 2 weeks after it came out because other games have kind of taken priority with that. And another thing that people have been talking about this past week is the sheer amount of money or time you would have to put into the game to unlock everything. Somewhere around, $650 something in order through in-game purchases to unlock everything, or 2.5 years if you were not to use real world money. And this got a lot of people angry for some reason. Ubisoft, I think, correctly said that you wouldn't be angry that you couldn't collect every weapon in World of Warcraft. Now, I think this is a proper analogy video game wise, but obviously with a, decade-long MMO like World of Warcraft, there's just going to be a ton more content than a, multiplayer melee game like For Honor. But yeah, people are saying like you've got $600 of content locked away from gamers. No, it's not. It's just equipment that you get. you know, no one's going to get angry that you can't unlock every gun in Borderlands. And if you wanted to unlock every single unlock in Overwatch, that would cost you hundreds of dollars as well. It's just cosmetic. It doesn't really affect the game. And you can unlock, you know, anything in, you know, Mass Effect Andromeda multiplayer or, you know, other things just through normal playing of the game. You know, if you wanted to unlock everything in Battlefield 1 or Battlefield 4, that's going to take you like, I don't know, 20 days played. And I did that in Battlefield 4. I played many days in that game and I unlocked every single gun, including everything in the DLC. And I enjoyed it, and it wasn't given to me for free. I even had to pay for the DLC, but I thought it was worth it. So I don't know why so many people are angry. I mean, obviously it had a pretty successful launch, and a lot of people really liked it, at least on the onset. Had a lot of attention, a lot of big streamers going ham with it. So it does put a target on its back for people to get angry about, and especially now that we're post No Man's Sky era, everyone is looking for a reason to hate on a video game that just launched when it comes to not living up to the hype or to what they expected. But this is a really weird thing to attack them for, because a ton of games have a bunch of unlockable stuff that, yeah, it would cost a lot of money or you would have to spend a lot of time in order to get it all, but the game is not designed for you to get it all, and you shouldn't be playing it that way. So I'm going with Ubisoft on this one. Pokemon Go is continuing to try to keep things fresh with a water-themed Pokemon event for this past week, and will be ending at the beginning of next week. Everyone got a free Magikarp hat that they can put on their trainer, and the new 7-day stop bonus has included a guaranteed special item instead of having to hope that you get the 0.13% chance of a King's Rock or a Dragon Scale dropping from a Pokestop. So now if you just do your spin every day for an entire week, you're guaranteed one, which I think was absolutely necessary because of just the sheer rarity of those drops in order to just evolve Pokemon that you already have. And that's pretty nice. Now that I have a Slowking, I'll finally be able to get more of them and not just hope for RNG or thousands of Pokestops in order to get what I need. The water spawns have greatly increased. It is quite obvious. You can get Totodiles and Squirtles, even caught a War Turtle, Poliwags, Seals. You can now find Seals. I had to go to like a special nest in order to get my Dugong, you know, like 5 months ago. So now people can, you know, get more Magikarp candy. There's also supposed to be a special shiny Magikarp in the game that a couple of people have reported. And then, of course, you can evolve into the Gyarados, get your shiny Gyarados. This is kind of in parallel to the games where you got a free shiny Gyarados in silver and gold. So this being the first shiny available kind of makes sense Pokemon history-wise. But everyone has been wanting shinies in the game, and now that they've shown that we have a couple of shinies, one has to wonder, well, when are the rest going to come out? Because that's kind of cool, especially if, you know, you can tell that they're special without having to click on them, because that gives you more incentive to look for things and to play the game more, which is what we know Niantic is all about. Xbox Live is making a huge change that is many years in the making, in that we will now be able to have custom profile pics. Now, it's going to take a long time before this has gone through their survey program. It's going to take additional testing, more so than other things like a dashboard update or something like that. I think this obviously is because they want to figure out how to filter and or censor inappropriate images that people may want to use as their gamer pic, which we know the large majority of people are going to do if you've seen what they do with custom emblem editors in, say, like Call of Duty or Battlefield. We know how all the 9-year-olds love to think the same exact way. So you can understand why they would be a little hesitant on this, but it is very nice considering Xbox One gamer pictures are like, there's like 40 of them. They've added like 20 since the launch of the console, like 3-4 years ago now it is, and it's just ludicrous how little they've been available and how you can't even buy them if you wanted to, like you could on PS4. PS4 finally has the customizable background, which Xbox One has had for a couple of years, but now Xbox One is finally going to have us not just have a new gamer pick that we can choose, but one that we can choose ourselves, and not even one we have to buy from a store or unlock through anything special. So very much looking forward to that, because I'm sick of the lame preset ones that they have for us, where everyone either picks the cool one from Gears of War or Halo or, whatever small updates that they've had, or just they've just kept with the same wacky wavy inflatable tube man one since the launch of the console. So hopeful that it comes out before the end of the year, but at the very least we know that it will be coming, probably with some restrictions, but at the very least it's good. So after a couple weeks now of Nintendo saying there's nothing wrong with our left Joy-Con, and even though a lot of people have been desyncing with, such as myself, based off of how close it is to the console, they now said, yeah, there was never a problem. But by the way, we fixed that problem. That wasn't a problem, and it's exactly what everybody said that it was when it was glaringly obvious that the antenna had no separation from the actual circuit going on in here. So they added a piece of conductive foam into the Joy-Con if you send it to get refurbished. Now, it was a glaringly obvious manufacturing or design mistake that when day one people opened it up, like, what's the problem? Oh, it's because of the antenna. And then people send their Joy-Cons to Nintendo and they put a conductive foam piece between the two because the antenna is going to get interference and it's going to desync. So we knew what the problem was. It was obvious what it was. Nintendo said there was no problem. And by the way, they fixed the problem. So if you want it fixed, you can send it in, get it back within a week. People have said that, the timing that they've promised has gone through and it has fixed the problem. And if they remove the foam, the problem comes back. So I've been having problems with it, but since I can keep it as close to the console as I really need to, I haven't had those problems when I do that. So, yeah, Nintendo, at least you're saying that you'll fix the problem that you didn't have, but you didn't even acknowledge that it was a problem, and it was a pretty obvious problem that you should have seen coming long before the Switch launched. So, silver lining? Your April free games for gold go as follows. You'll get Rise Son of Rome, which was a launch title on Xbox One, so we're finally getting full-fledged Xbox One titles. That's pretty cool. As well as Walking Dead Season 2 for the Xbox One and for the 360, as well as Xbox One via backwards compatibility. You'll be getting Darksiders, as well as Assassin's Creed Revelations. Anyways, that is what mattered this week. If you want to know what matters in the future, hit the subscribe button when these videos comes out every single Saturday. Follow me on Twitter. Let me know what you guys thought about the news this week, and I'll see you all next time.